my experiences over the past some years, I went to several conferences, and what I usually see is that museums very much need management knowledge. So to integrate that part of the world in themselves, in their culture, in their structure, in order to be able to grow and develop according to their to the needs of the public, because the public wouldn't say a vote only for the for-profit or the non-profit, but it's a global world from that point of view. So I think that museums should much more open to establish like efficiency, nice standards, good standards, management value in their institutions. I think it's also connected to the budget cutbacks, that probably governments want to push us to this direction. And I think crisis is a beautiful opportunity to change the structure, but just the directors don't dare to make the step, because, well, at least in Hungary, what I see, that working in a museum is almost like a lifetime job, or it was. And actually, I don't think it should be. So everyone has a life cycle, and every museum has a life cycle. It should be always like growing like a spiral. When I was at the university, I studied environmental protection, and at that time I had a debate with a friend. What is more important, environmental awareness or cultural awareness? And I would just say that awareness is the most important thing, because from the moment on that you are aware what is in your environment, how is your relationship to that, how you can affect your environment, or how does that affect you, from that moment on you are in the position to change your future, change your present, change your fate, if you like that. I come from a big institution, and probably I would answer you differently if I came from a small one. But we have more than 200 employees, and in that situation, you have to be coordinated. So there are colleagues I probably don't meet for half a year, or maybe a year, or I don't know, those who are working in the restoration workshop, why would I go there from the visitor services department? Yes, sometimes I do, but you know, the distance is relatively big. And what I wanted to say is that I think there is no royal way. So if you want to show anyone, your audience, that you are tidy, you are ready to accept them, then first you have to start this process with clearing up your backyard. If you just think back that television at the beginning of the 20th century was something extremely rare thing, and people just did sit there and probably were talking back to the person on the screen because they didn't know how it works. Then and you see television now as like the really key of communication or spreading news. Then you see that it's unpredictable. So we definitely have to get engaged in communicational methods that are of interest for the young people. Personally, I am not for that, so I might be conservative for that. So my own experience is that probably I would never read an article on the screen, or very rarely. I would rather have it in my hand on paper. But that's me, and that doesn't mean that it has to be like that. So I really think that we have to open up. Probably some years ago, museums were a really dark place, and they were rather the place of conservation and keeping the objects for the future. But then there is this perspective: if we want to keep this piece of stone forever, or do we want to use this for the current generation to educate them? Of course, respecting the object itself, but Are they static, or can we dynamically involve them in the education process? And there is another side of this coin, that I think that present and probably future generations even more would need experience. It's not like I am standing there in front of a glass and labeled objects and I want to read, and then I go out from the museum and next day I just forget everything, probably even the name of the museum where I was. Or would I be involved? Can I do something actively? Can I would this object move me in a way? Would it make me think? And if it starts, it is also already a start of changing generations and educating people and creating something valuable.